Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining me again for another one of my YouTube live streams where we are going to talk about Trump's peace summit and whether or not there's actually going to be lasting peace in the Middle East or if this is just the Islamic terrorists buying time. This is, sorry, this is part two of this sort of conversation because yesterday, if you were part of the live stream, you would have seen that myself and you of course as well, but mostly me, we got distracted with the actual speech itself because there was a lot of nuances there in terms of body language, in terms of how Trump introduced certain countries, and it gave a really good insight into how Trump views certain relationships, right? So, for example, the way he just snubbed Canada, the way he totally embarrassed the United Kingdom. We went through all of that. It was like over 2 hours, over 2 hours. So if you want to get that analysis, definitely you want to watch yesterday's podcast for sure. But today we are going to do a deep dive into whether or not this is going to be lasting peace in the Middle East. I am personally very skeptical, but I'm glad that at the very least the hostages have been returned, the living hostages at least. So let's start by listening to President Trump talk about the peace. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit here. Actually, you know what? I'll just play it from the beginning so that we can kind of go through it all together, and then I'll pause on the keywords with respect to the lasting peace itself. Okay, so I'm not going to comment on the way he snubs like Keir Starmer and Carney because that all happened. We had a long conversation about that yesterday. So here we go.
Well, thank you very much, and that was a great honor. I appreciate it very much, Mr. President, Mr. General, Mr. President, great General, great President. Thank you very much. This is the day that people across the region and around the world have been working, striving, hoping, and praying for. They have done things over the last month that I think were really unthinkable. Nobody thought this could happen. With the historic agreement we've just signed, those prayers of millions have finally been answered. As you know, the hostages have been returned, and further work goes on having to do with the, sadly to say, bodies. Together we've achieved what everybody said was impossible. At long last, we have peace in the Middle East, and it's a very simple expression, peace in the Middle East, and we've heard it for many years, but nobody thought it could ever get there, and now we're there. I want to congratulate everybody.
I mean, I would just have to say that I'm pretty sure the Palestinians disagree, given the fact that they're literally murdering each other right now in Gaza. So, but I mean, then again, like that's sort of expected. I mean, they're a terrorist jihadi society. Like when they're not killing Israelis, they're killing one another, right? And that's exactly what we're seeing. And I will get to that, and I also will get to President Trump's comments yesterday about disarming Hamas, because Hamas still has not disarmed, and that's definitely part of it. So, but this is from 2 days ago, so we're going to continue watching this, and then we'll get to his comments from yesterday as well.
Everybody sitting in these first few rows and standing behind me. I don't know why they chose to stand, but I promise I'll make it short, okay? We are not going to keep you standing for long. These are great leaders. After years of suffering and bloodshed, the war in Gaza is over. Humanitarian aid is now pouring in, including hundreds of truckloads of food, medical equipment, and other supplies, much of it paid for by people in this room. Civilians are returning to their homes. The hostages are reuniting. I mean, it's beautiful. I'm just watching it backstage. the level of love and sorrow, I've never seen anything like it. It's amazing when you see they haven't seen their mother, their father. They haven't seen them in such a long time, and they lived in a tunnel, a very little tunnel, very deep. And the level of love is just incredible. It's a beautiful thing to see. It's, in one sense, it's so horrible that it could have taken place, but in another sense, it's so beautiful to see a new and beautiful day is rising. And now the rebuilding begins. The rebuilding is maybe going to be the easiest part. I think we've done a lot of the hardest part because the rest comes together. We all know how to rebuild, and we know how to build better than anybody in the world. I want to express my tremendous gratitude to the Arab and Muslim nations who helped make this incredible breakthrough possible. And you really did. To President El-Sisi of Egypt, who is so generously hosting us today. And I want to thank you for the outstanding job your country is doing in so many different ways and for helping us so much with this peace agreement. I also want to thank the president for the escort of 6 fighter jets. Oh, we looked out the window, we said, I hope they're friendly, and they turned out to be very friendly. But we had 3 on each side, and they are beauties right out of the great, really American manufacturing hub. We make the greatest military equipment in the world. We have the strongest military in the world by far. And I knew exactly what those planes were, and I knew exactly how much you paid for those planes too. You paid a lot, but you got a pretty good deal. And they are great planes, and we just appreciate it. That was quite an escort in. That was very impressive. But Air Force One was really, it was covered with Egyptian desert just a few months ago. If you think about it, just a few months ago, it was Egyptian desert, and now it was just a few feet off our window. And it was a spectacular sight, and I appreciate it very much. Really, that was pretty good. You got our people by surprise. I don't know if they were thrilled right at the beginning, but they were thrilled as we sailed along very, very calmly and safely. And I'm deeply honored to receive from you, Egypt's highest state honor, the Order of the Nile. The Nile is so beautiful, so magnificent. It's such a beautiful title, the Order of the Nile. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Appreciate it. Great honor. I also want to give a very special thanks to the Emir of Qatar, a man who's outstanding. He's been a friend of mine for a long time, long before politics, and he's a fantastically respected man. His Highness Sheikh Tamim is respected by everybody. He's respected by everybody and in the most positive way, not only because of power, because of his heart. He's got a tremendous heart, and he's a great leader, and his country loves him. Thank you very much for being here. It's an honor. Let me also express our condolences to the Qataris on the tragic car crash that claimed the lives of your cherished diplomats, some of whom were known by our people, and they were supposed to be incredible people. So please extend our sorrow and best wishes. That was tough. That was really tough. On this extraordinary occasion, I also want to give our sincere thanks to President Erdogan of Turkey. He's always there when I need him. He's such a tough guy. He is tough as you can be, but we love him. And when they have a problem with you, they always call me to handle it.
I'm reading some of your comments in the YouTube chat because the YouTube chat is where I'm active. So if you guys want to be part of the conversation, make sure that you're following me on YouTube. And Robert, I agree with you. I don't think it's going to last. I spoke about it briefly before, but I'll speak about it again after. Like, I don't think that this peace is going to last. And there are a few reasons why. The main reason being that the Islamic Republic occupying Iran is still in power. But I will get to that. But I mean, I think we're sort of in a shaky sort of ceasefire. And if anything, I think this is going to last until the end of Trump's administration. And then, after Trump is gone and a new administration comes in, I have a feeling that things might blow up again, no pun intended, if not sooner. But I mean, I can't see this peace in the Middle East lasting for longer than 2 years or 3 years maximum. And I'll get to that as well.
And usually I come through. We just have a good relationship, but we have from the beginning. And so I want to thank you very much and say hello to your wife, your beautiful wife. And it's great to be with you. Always there. When I need him, he's always there. Thank you very much, Mr. President. And I also want to thank, I just spoke to him on the phone, His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mohammed, Saudi Arabia, a special friend of mine. Boy, he's come so long and so far, and he's doing a fantastic job for his country. And I want to just thank him. And, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed of the United Arab Emirates is here. Where? He's here someplace. Well, oh, he's not here, but he's here in spirit. I can tell you that. And he's been another one. He's been absolutely incredible, and we appreciate it very much. And His Majesty King Abdullah of Jordan. And thank you very much, King Abdul of Jordan. He's here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. And you really have been a great helper. We appreciate it. Appreciate it. Prime Minister Sharif of Pakistan. And also, I have to say, my favorite field marshal from Pakistan, who's not here, but the Prime Minister is here, and you're going to give his regards. Where are you? There you go. Thank you very much.
Okay, sorry. So someone just asked me to post the YouTube link on my X. So I just did that. So if you're following me on X, if you're watching this on X and you want to join the conversation on YouTube, just go to my profile and you'll see that I just posted the link to my YouTube channel. So the reason I still broadcast it on X is because for a lot of Iranians who have difficulty getting access to outside, X is usually the easiest for them to access. So that's why I live stream this on X as well, because it helps with Iranians who are inside of Iran. But yeah, join me on YouTube if you want to join the conversation there.
Do you want to say what you said to me the other day? Would you like to say what you said?
Roan, you're absolutely right. So I just want to show this to everyone. I put it up top. So they are waiting for Democrats to get back into office. They need more funding, 100%. The Islamic Republic occupying Iran definitely prefers the Democrats because the Democrats are weak. The Democrats have always been sort of pro-Islamic regime. And in fact, Jimmy Carter, who backed the Islamic Republic occupying Iran in 1979, was, of course, a Democrat. So the Democrats have always been the biggest supporters of like Islamists and Islamic dictators. So I have a feeling the Islamic Republic is hoping to wait this out.
I think it was so nice. Please.
Thank you very much, my dear President Trump, my dear brother President Fatil Sisi of Egypt, Majesties, Highnesses, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, and a very good evening. Well, I would say today is one of the greatest days in contemporary history.
Yeah, you're right. So Jan makes a good point as well. Iran, I mean, I like to say the Islamic Republic because the Islamic Republic is occupying Iran. I'm Iranian. That behind me, that's the flag of Iran. That's what the flag of the country was before 1979. So the Islamic Republic did have American hostages under Carter, which is insane because President Carter is the one that backed up the Ayatollahs and brought them to Iran to take over my country. And then as soon as the Islamic radicals took over my country, they turned around and then they took a whole bunch of Americans hostage. And it was only when Ronald Reagan basically came in that the hostage crisis was solved, right? But there you go. Like, you can't trust Islamists. They've been playing from like the same playbook for decades, right? I mean, and this is what's insane is like people forget what happened in 1979, where Jimmy Carter backed the Islamic Republic, supported the Islamic Republic, and then those same Islamists turned around and took a whole bunch of Americans hostage. And now all of a sudden, the Democrats and the liberals and the progressives today think that they can be friends and work with these Islamic terrorists, right? But Islamic terrorists will always be Islamic terrorists.
Because peace has been achieved after untiring efforts led by President Trump, who is genuinely a man of peace, who has relentlessly and untiringly worked throughout these months, day in and day out, to make this world a place to live with peace and prosperity. I would say that Pakistan had nominated President Donald Trump for Nobel Peace Prize for his outstanding, extraordinary contributions to first stop war between India and Pakistan, and then achieve ceasefire along with his very wonderful team. And today, again, I would like to nominate this great president for Nobel Peace Prize, because I genuinely feel that he is the most genuine and most wonderful candidate for Peace Prize, because he has brought not only peace in South Asia, saved millions of people, their lives. And today, here in Sharm el-Sheikh, achieving peace in Gaza is saving millions of lives in the Middle East. Mr. President, I would like to salute you for your exemplary leadership, visionary leadership. And I think that you are the man this world needed most at this point in time. World would always remember you as a man who did everything, went out of the way to stop 7 and today 8 wars. I would like to thank my very dear brother, Sheikh Tamim. He's Akh al-Shakik, who has really worked very hard along with others to achieve peace in this region. My very dear brother, President Tayyip Erdogan, His Majesty, King Abdullah, and of course, my very dear brother, Mohammed bin Zayed of UAE, and of course, my very dear brother, Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. And he has also been very, very helpful and contributed very valuably in this wonderful peace process. Ladies and gentlemen, I wouldn't want to take more of your time. Suffice it to say, had it not been for this gentleman, not only, who knows, India and Pakistan are both nuclear powers. Had he not intervened along with his wonderful team, during those 4 days, the war could have escalated to a level. Who would have lived to tell what happened? And similarly, here in this part of the world, in the Middle East, Mr. President, your valuable contribution along with President Sisi, I think history will remember in golden words. I wouldn't say more, except God bless you, God give you long life to serve like this for all time to come. Thank you very much.
So beautiful. Thank you very much. Wow. Thank you very much.
Very
You
kind.
guys, keep that in mind. I spoke about this yesterday, and I went into like a full analysis on this. So President Trump invites the president of Pakistan to come up and say a few words. He doesn't invite anyone else, right? So he doesn't invite Canada. He doesn't invite the UK. No one else really comes up. So that's really important. Keep that in mind. And of course, the way he completely embarrasses Keir Starmer, right? Because when he called up Keir thought that he was going to have an opportunity to speak the same way that the president of Pakistan did. And then, of course, that didn't happen. President Trump just completely snubbed him. And I have a feeling that has something to do with the fact that Keir Starmer, first of all, unilaterally recognized the fake country of Palestine, right? Which is totally against American policy. And, Trump is basically putting all these people in their place.
Wow, I didn't expect that. Let's go home. There's nothing more I have to say. Goodbye, everybody. That was really beautiful and beautifully delivered. Wow, thank you very much. Also with us is President Prabowo, a very incredible man of Indonesia. President, come in. Great job. President Abbas of the Palestinian Authority. See, we have them all. We have them all. Great, great. It's good to have you. And so many others. I really have a list here. This first three rows and what's standing behind me, I don't know why they chose to stand, but it's there. They're going to be very famous tomorrow. All of them. We have the Arab League is represented by His Excellency, and thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much. We have Armenia, and Azerbaijan. That's a little war that we stopped. That's a little war. There they are. Look at them. They're sitting. When I met with them, it was in the Oval Office. They fought for like 31 years or some crazy number. And they had one sitting on that side of the Oval Office, one sitting. By the time we finished in 1 hour, they were both hugging each other. And now they're friends and they're getting along great. Look at it. So I want to thank you both. That's incredible. Really incredible. So you have Armenia and you have Bahrain. You have Canada. It's so great to have.
This is the part where he snubs Canada and Mark Carney, right? He basically makes Mark Carney, who's the Prime Minister of Canada, look like an idiot because Mark Carney and Canada had nothing to do with the peace agreement. In fact, Mark Carney is also one of those, people who's bending over for the Islamists and, the jihadi vote in Canada. And so he was part of the group of countries that unilaterally declared, the recognition of a state of Palestine, even though it's like completely off to like what Canadians actually want or agree with. And Trump, this is how Trump calls him out on that, right? Look at how he treats those countries which unilaterally recognize Palestine, even though it's basically like a terrorist jihadi society. And even now, they are murdering one another, right? And I'll show the video. I'll show the video of Palestinians murdering other Palestinians, and then they're all like surrounding them, and they're like cheering and hollering as if they're like watching some sort of dog match or like some sort of like weird. It's like think of Gaza as like a weird jihadi version of Hunger Games. That's basically what it is. It's like the Hunger Games, but like the weird jihadi version of it. And I'll show you a video after.
In effect, the president called and he wanted to know if it's worthwhile. He knew exactly what it was. He knew the importance. Where's Canada, by the way? Where are you? Where are you?
So funny. He calls
He knew
him
the importance
the president
of
of
this.
Canada.
He said, I want to be there. So many people have done that. They called. I mean, they heard about it. And these are not people that can do that very easily. They have pretty big schedules, to put it mild. The most powerful people. And I appreciate you being here very much, Mr. President. Fantastic. Fantastic. And Cyprus, Egypt, the European Union.
Some of you are asking me to show the video of like the Hamas Palestinians like murdering other Palestinians. I'll play it for you after we're done talking about this. So stick around because I'll show that video next. But if you haven't seen it, it's all over X, right? Like it's all over X. The news isn't showing it though, right? Because the news is very leftist, and because it's like Palestinians murdering Palestinians, it totally goes against their narrative of how like the Palestinians are like these peaceful, oppressed people who just want to live in peace. And, oh no, they've been oppressed by Israel, right? And so This video, which shows them like murdering each other, is pissing them off, and it's totally against their narrative. That's why they're not showing it, right? And that's why like anyone who speaks about it gets attacked, because people just can't handle the truth. No one, like these people don't want you to know that it's literally the biggest grift, and they're all just a bunch of like savage jihadis who just murder people. And there's a reason why no Middle Eastern country takes them in as refugees, right? Like the Middle Eastern countries know what's going on.
It's a lot of countries. France, thank you very much, Emmanuel. I would imagine Emmanuel standing someplace behind me. Where is he? I can't believe it. You're taking a low-key approach today. He's my friend. That's great. Good job. Thank you very much, Emmanuel. Germany, the new chancellor of Germany he's easy to spot because he's very tall and he's very smart and he's doing a fantastic job for his country. Appreciate it very much. And congratulations, a big election. That was a big one. That was going to change things. Greece, we have Greece. We have Hungary. Oh, Victor, where is Victor?
Guys, so all of the like Palestinian, pro-Palestine jihadis in the chat are getting very triggered by the fact that I mentioned that Palestinians are murdering other Palestinians, because like they're all like a bunch of jihadis. So I mean, here you go. Here's the video. Here's the video of Palestinians murdering other Palestinians. And then they're all like, surrounding it. Like they're all surrounding. And then there's a whole bunch of them that are like surrounding it. And then they're all cheering and they're filming as they literally murder each other in the streets, right? So here's like, I call this like the Palestinian Hunger Games, right? So here you go, guys. Here you go. Enjoy your free Palestine, right? So here they are literally like murdering each other, and then they all start, and then here's the best part, they all start yelling Allahu Akbar when they like murder each other, right? This is what you're not seeing in the news. This is what like so this is literally Palestinian society. They just like murder each other in the streets for fun. Yeah, they're like yelling Allahu Akbar. Who does that? By the way, if you guys don't want to watch Palestinians murdering Palestinians, look away. But as you can tell, like all the Palestinians are like surrounding these poor, like these other Palestinians, and they're cheering it on, right? They're like cheering on, like murdering their own people. So like this is Palestinian society. It's literally like a jihadi Hunger Games. And then they're all yelling Allahu Akbar while they murder each other, right? Like this is literally what Islamic terrorists do. This is literally what Islamic terrorists look like. Here you go. This is like the Palestinian jihadi Hunger Games. So you see that? So I'm not going to play the rest of it because they literally like shoot the people. And I don't want to like play that because it's incredibly graphic and violent, but you can like go and find the video yourself where they literally start murdering each other and then they all yell Allahu Akbar. So there you go. There's free Palestine for you right there. Anyways, let's go back to President Trump's speech. So now, guys, you can see this is what the Palestinian Hunger Games look like.
Victor. We love Victor. Victor, I call him. I put the little accent on it. You are fantastic, all right? I know a lot of people don't agree with me, but I'm the only one that matters. You are fantastic. He's a great leader. I endorsed him the last election he had, and he won by 28 points. So you're going to do even better this time. You have another election, and you're going to do great, and we appreciate it, and we're behind you 100%. That's Hungary. India is a great country with a very good friend of mine at the top, and he's just done a fantastic job. And I think that Pakistan and India are going to live very nicely together, right? That's not a very, they are. And they're two great, I tell you, leaders, great leaders as far as I'm concerned. Indonesia, we covered, and I just want to say that that's a big country, a powerful country. It does unbelievably well, and it's great to have you. Iraq, we have Iraq with lots of oil. They have so much oil, they don't know what to do with it. That's a big problem when you have so much, you have no idea what to do with it. So thank you very much thank you very much. Italy, we have a young woman who's, I'm not allowed to say it because usually it's the end of your political career if you say it. She's a beautiful young woman. Now, if you use the word beautiful in the United States about a woman, that's the end of your political career, but I'll take my chances. Where is she? There she is. You don't mind being called beautiful, right? Because you are. Thank you very much for coming. We appreciate it. She wanted to be here, and she's incredible, and they really respect her in Italy. She's a very successful politician. We have Norway. Oh, Norway. Norway. What happened, Norway? What happened?
I like how he goes after Norway. Like he's literally calling out
Johnny.
all of those
We're going to the
countries that
World Cup. I
recognize,
can tell you that. Where's Norway?
Palestine. So, he's
I don't
basically
think he
saying, why
wants
the hell
to
are you
stand- oh, he's
supporting
back there.
like jihadi terrorists?
Yeah, we have Norway. Oman, again, we have Paraguay. We have really fantastic representative from Saudi Arabia. Thank you very much. I'll tell you what, and this time we'll get you the best seat. He always gets the best seat. He deserves the best seat. But what a great place it is. Spain. Where's Spain? Are you guys working on him with respect to the GDP? We'll get close. But fantastic job you're doing. And UAE, which is great. United Kingdom. Where's United Kingdom? Where's my friend? Come here. Is everything going good? Very good. It's very nice that you're here. These people all came in like 20-minute notice. And I think it's fantastic. And we have so many others, and just so many others. And it's such a compliment to what we're doing, because what we've done is something very unique and very special. So it's perhaps the wealthiest and most powerful group of nations ever assembled at one time, which is a big thing. We have achieved together in recent days a change that really is historic,
Okay.
and it's going to be remembered forever.
So this is where I'm going to start breaking down his analysis, okay? And I'm going to explain to you guys why I think that this peace in the Middle East is not going to last. And we're already seeing some signs of it beginning to crumble. I truly don't think we're going to have lasting peace in the Middle East until all of these Islamic terrorist proxy groups have been eradicated. But also, we're not going to have peace in the Middle East until the Islamic Republic itself is overthrown, right? Remember, the Islamic Republic is the terrorists that occupied Iran back in 1979. They're the ones who are funding all of the like jihadi propaganda and Islamic terrorist proxy groups in the Middle East, but also a lot of the bots that you're seeing in the chat, every accusation is basically an admission. It's well known that the Islamic Republic spends over $1 billion a year on cyber warfare. So that's why you're seeing a lot of bots in the channel right now, just like literally freaking out, because this is what they get paid to do. This is their paycheck. They just come in, they spread propaganda, they just attack, and it's very like low IQ stuff as well, right? Like they never have a reasonable or a logical argument, but this is how the Islamic Republic operates. They do it on YouTube, they do it on X, they do it on Instagram, like a whole bunch of places here. So, and then, there's always a lot of typos in their comments as well. Like it's just very, very low IQ stuff. Like I bet you a lot of these bots are from like Islamic Republic, or I don't know, maybe Pakistan or whatever, things like that. Anyway, so let's continue. So President Trump is now starting to talk about the peace agreement and why he thinks it's going to last. I'll explain to you why I don't think it's going to last. Like I don't think this is a permanent thing at all, not until the Islamic Republic is overthrown.
And I want to thank the American team for their amazing work. And I want to thank, I think he'll go down as the greatest Secretary of State in the history of our country. I really believe that, Marco, or I wouldn't say it. Marco Rubio, I wouldn't say it. Yeah, maybe I would. You're doing a great job. I'll tell you, he's on course to do it. We've done a lot of work in 9 months. We've done a lot of work. I say that, 1 year ago, a little more, but 1 year ago, America, the United States of America was a dead country. The king told me, and I use that, he said, sir, 1 year ago, it was a dead country. Today, you have the hottest country anywhere in the world, and it is. It's the hottest country. So many investors are here. We have over $17 trillion being invested in the United States, which is a record that nobody has ever beaten. I don't think anybody will. And we still have 4 months to go before it's a year. So in 8 months, we have over 17 trillion. We're actually very close to $18 trillion. There's never been, as an example, the previous administration had less than $1 trillion over 4 years. We have, we're close to breaking $18 trillion in 8 months. That's pretty amazing. No country's ever done that. I want to also thank Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and my son-in-law and a great guy, Jared Kushner. And I even have my daughter here, Ivanka. Ivanka, please stand up. Ivanka's here. Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Ivanka. We have a great team, and we have, as you know, General Raisin Kane. We have John Radcliffe. We have Tom Barrack. We have really a lot of...
Oh, let me just go to... So someone in the comments... what did they say? Someone in the comments called me an Iranian Zionist. 100%. I'm Iranian and I'm a Zionist. I 100% believe in the right of Israel to exist. I think the two-state solution is Israel and Jordan, right? Like there, there is Arab Palestine. That's what Jordan is. So yeah, 100% Zionist. I don't even hide it. Pro-Israel 100%. So if you're not a fan of Israel, you're in the wrong channel. Sorry, guys. Let's continue.
Good talent. We have Pete Hegseth, who's now Department of War, as opposed to Department of Defense. We made a little change. Somehow I like the name better. So do you. So do a lot of people. But the momentous breakthrough that we're here to celebrate tonight is more than the end of the war in Gaza. It's with God's help. It'll be the new beginning for an entire beautiful Middle East. From this moment forward, we can build a region that's strong and stable and prosperous and united in rejecting the path of terror once and for all. We want to get rid of the terror and get on to other things. There are many other things.
So here's the thing. President Trump talks about wanting to get rid of the terror, right? So this is really important. He's talking about wanting to get rid of the terror in the Middle East, but the terrorism comes from the Islamic Republic occupying Iran, right? That jihadi ideology, that fake Palestinian cause, right? The source of that goes back to 1979 when the Islamic Republic took over my country of Iran. So, I mean, it's great to have peace, but we've already seen the way that like the Palestinians are behaving. They're still calling for bloodshed. And then you still have all of the pro-Palestine, which I like to call pro-Hamas marches in the West, who are still out there. And they're still going out and they're attacking Jews. They're blocking intersections to pray. They're yelling Allahu Akbar. So these people are still destabilizing Western society. So, we all want peace, but unless and until you get rid of the Islamic Republic and you get rid of the Islamic Republic supporters, you're not going to have peace, because these people are exporting their jihadi ideology. And I'll get to that in a moment. There's a very, very good interview by King Reza Pahlavi, he is the leader of, Iran's opposition against the Islamic Republic, because as you know, like Iranians are currently fighting back, and there's a long sort of revolution that's sort of happening here to overthrow the Islamic Republic. He actually speaks about peace in the Middle East, and he does so back in May. I played the interview yesterday, but I will play it again in a little bit. And he explains perfectly how the Islamic terrorists think and how they operate. And he also explains that even if you guys don't want war, they will bring the war to you, because that is what these people are about, right? You're not dealing with rational actors. You're dealing with terrorists who literally want to murder you and take over the world. And that's what you're seeing, not just in the Middle East, but slowly creeping into other places as well. So we will get into all of that.
At least from this moment forward, we can build a region that's strong and stable and prosperous and united in rejecting the path of terror once and for all. We want to get rid of the terror and get on to other things. There are many other things in life that are so good. The final sprint to this deal began less than 3 weeks ago on the sidelines of the United Nations in New York. I met with many of the people in this room, and it all just started coming together. I've known so many of you for so long. You're friends of mine. You're great people. I have a couple I don't like in particular, but I won't tell you who. I have actually a few of them I don't like at all, but you'll never find out who they are. Well, maybe you will, come to think of it. But I have most of you who I like a lot and I respect a lot. Maybe that's more important. We listened and we exchanged ideas and we kept pushing forward until the job was done. And the first steps to peace are always the hardest. And today we've taken them and we've put them all together and we've come up with this beautiful mix like nobody thought was possible. And as you know, I've just come from Israel. It was an amazing day to watch the hostages come in and to watch all of the other things and do all of the other things that we did. And like all of us here this evening, the Israeli people are overjoyed that the war has ended. Many of you have had dancing in the streets. They had dancing in the streets. And they've been dancing for weeks now once they heard about this and they heard that it was even a possibility. They're elated at the arrival of the hostages and excited to begin this new chapter for the entire region. And it's going to be that. And they are going to be great partners, and I hope everybody's going to join the Abraham Accord. I like to say the Avraham. I love Avraham, but somehow it doesn't sound as good when I say it as it does when some of my other friends say it who are from the region. But we're going to get a lot of people joining the Abraham Accords. We have the 4 great nations that did it early on, and they stayed with it. And then you had the Biden administration, which is the worst administration in the history of our country. And obviously they did nothing on that and anything else. And so it stayed at 4. And now a lot of people, even today, they're talking about all joining up. So many people have talked to me about that. And it's going to be a great tribute to really the United States. I mean, the United States has worked very hard in the Middle East. So it would be a tribute to us and to Jared and to Steve and to all of the people, Marco, all of the people that have worked so hard on that. And it really is going to it's going to guarantee that it all stays together. You're going to do well because the 4 nations do very well. I mean, they do extremely, as they're wealthy, but they're a lot wealthier because of it. So I hope everybody's now joining up. Now we have no excuses. We don't have a Gaza and we don't have an Iran as an excuse. That was a good excuse, but we don't have that anymore.
So that's really interesting. When he says Iran, obviously he's referring to the Islamic Republic. So he's basically saying that no one in the Middle East can use the Islamic Republic as an excuse to not enter into peace with Israel. So that means the Islamic Republic right now is isolated. And he's also this is his way of sending a message to the Islamic Republic. He's basically saying you have been left behind. Everyone has moved forward, because apparently what this signals. So let me play this for you again, and then I'll explain what he sort of means, because there was a lot of negotiations behind the scenes. And if you're a politician, if you're not a politician, or you don't have that political experience, it's difficult to sort of decode or catch what he's saying. So let me replay for you what he's saying, and then I will decode it for you, because of course I was a politician for 7 years. So I'm going to like translate that for you.
Well, Marco, all of the people that have worked so hard on that.
Wait, let me just I don't even know. All right. Here we go.
And it really is going to it's going to guarantee that it all stays together. You're going to do well, because the four nations do very well. I mean, they do extremely, as they're wealthy, but they're a lot wealthier because of it. So I hope everybody's now joining up. Now we have no excuses. We don't have a Gaza, and we don't have an Iran as an excuse. That was a good excuse, but we don't have that anymore.
So what he's saying is that, when he says we don't have Iran as an excuse anymore, so what he's saying is that prior to this peace agreement, a lot of, most likely there were certain nations who were saying, well, we can't enter into a peace agreement with Israel because we're afraid of what the Islamic Republic will do to us, type of thing. And so what President Trump is saying right now is that the Islamic Republic is irrelevant. It has been neutralized in a sense, and therefore you can enter into a peace agreement with Israel because the Islamic Republic is not there to stop you from doing that. So that's what he thinks. I know that the Islamic Republic is definitely terrified of President Trump. The supporters of the Islamic Republic in the United States, they all tried to defame Trump. They, John, I don't know how to make people a mod. I mean, if you, I don't know how to do that. I mean, I don't even know how to do that. I don't know how to make people mods. Wait, let me see if I can do this here. Literally, I have no clue how to make people mods. I'll look into it after, and maybe I'll make a few view mods because my videos are blowing up, but they are being spammed here. So let me see here. Like, I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to make some of you mods. I just don't know how to do it. So yeah. Anyway, so I'll figure out the mod thing after. But here, so what President Trump is saying is that the Islamic Republic cannot prevent countries from entering into peace with Israel anymore. That might be true, but I think that's only going to last maximum 2 years. I mean, if the Islamic Republic lasts that long, right? So by doing so, right? Like they're going to so the Islamic Republic is most likely going to wait this out. And that's what I mean when, you look at my title and I say, are the Islamic terrorists just buying time? That's exactly what I'm referring to. So President Trump thinks that this might be peace, but those of us who are familiar with the Islamic Republic, we know exactly how they operate. One of the foundational pillars of the Islamic Republic is jihad against Israel, jihad against America, jihad against the West. Without that never-ending war, the reason for the Islamic Republic to exist goes away. So this is why I'm very, very skeptical, right? And the Islamic Republic is probably going to try to wait this out until a weaker administration comes in and then, restart. And that's why it is so critical for Western governments to back up the Iranian people who want to overthrow the Islamic Republic and reclaim the country of Iran, because the only way we can truly get lasting peace in the Middle East is to get rid of the Islamic Republic once and for all, and to turn Iran back into the normal, regular country that it was prior to 1979, when it was a constitutional monarchy, right? Unless and until the Islamic Republic is overthrown, there will never be peace in the Middle East. And listen to us Iranians, because we're the ones who have been dealing with a brutal Islamic dictatorship for the last 47 years, right? Like, we know them, we understand them. There's a lot of things that they say in Farsi that they don't say in English. And, we are slowly translating what they're saying into English. And there are videos that we're putting out there where it's a literal translation of what they're saying. But there are, unfortunately, a lot of people in the West who support the Islamic Republic, who support the, Islamic terrorism. And many of them are in your countries, right? They're in your countries and they're destabilizing it. And especially with social media, you see a lot of them in chats and places like that where they come in and they spam. And you can always tell who the Islamic terrorists and their supporters are because they never have a coherent argument, right? These are incredibly low IQ people. All they do is swear. All they do is attack. If it's a woman speaking, they're incredibly misogynistic, right? Like, but they never counter the facts. They're never able to provide a cohesive response to what someone is saying. And it just, these are just low IQ bots, right? And these are paid by the Islamic Republic to just put out this propaganda and to try and silence people because they do not want you to know the truth. They do not want you to know where all of the the destabilization of your countries is coming from. And keep in mind, that's exactly what happened to Iran in 1979. It was the communists and the Islamists and the lefty progressives that united together that eventually overthrew the country and turned it into a 7th century Islamic hellhole. That's exactly what we're starting to see in the West, right? Like, the Islamic Revolution didn't happen overnight. This wasn't something that people just woke up one day. This was the product of about 15 years worth of protests and everything. And it really started with the Iranian White Revolution. And I will do another space where I talk about the White Revolution, which was, of course, started by the Shah of Iran at the time, Shahanshah Aryameh. And the White Revolution was a process where he began to modernize Iran, modernize the country. Of course, that pissed off the Islamists. For example, women in Iran had the right to vote before women in Switzerland. That pissed off the Islamists because they said, why should women have the right to vote, right? So it was the White Revolution that really began not just the process of modernizing Iran, but it pissed off Khomeini and all those Islamic terrorists and the clerics, and then they started pushing back. And of course, it was ignored. But the problem is, when you ignore them, they become stronger and stronger, and then eventually they took over Iran. So I will definitely speak about that in another live stream. But let's go back to this topic here, and why I don't think that this peace is going to last, and why I think the Islamic terrorists are just engaging in taqiyya, taqiyya, as we say in Farsi. They're just engaging in taqiyya. And they're just basically buying time so that they can regroup, they can get more powerful, and then they can restart their attacks.
All the momentum now is toward a great, glorious, and lasting peace. And our commitment to fulfilling the 20-point plan we developed together will be the crucial foundation for achieving that bright future. And it's being worked on right now as we speak. And we're actually in stage 3 and 4. It's not going to be, just divided down so simply. We can be long advanced on some of the things that we say we're going to do. We can take them out of order in a positive way. And we've shown how it can be done with responsible nations like the people in this room, these incredible people in this room, setting aside their differences, seeking common ground, and pursuing a better world for all of us. And that spirit's my dream, that we all get together and enjoy our life. And we're going to put some of you on the board of peace. Everybody wants to be on the board of peace. They said, would you be the chairman? I say, I'm pretty busy too. But whatever we can do to have peace in the Middle East, it's worth it. But everybody wants to go on the board of peace, so we're probably going to enlarge it. We're going to get, and the leaders, the top people, the top leaders, they want to be on the board of peace. A beautiful term. At first, I wasn't sure, and then I realized how beautiful it is. And for the people of Gaza, the focus now must be on restoring the basics of a good life. We're going to have a lot of money coming into Gaza and a lot of rebuilding and building. It's not so much rebuilding, it's really building, cleaning up and building. And I'm pleased to announce that numerous countries of great wealth and power and dignity have come forward to me just today and over the last week to say they want to help in the reconstruction of Gaza, putting up whatever money is necessary. And the money is, of course, it's a lot of money, but it's not much compared to the value or the wealth of these tremendous countries. And they are ensuring stability and success in the Middle East. So when you think about it, it's a very, very small amount of money is necessary, relatively speaking. And as those commitments are made, I'm going to let the world know who is doing it, because they really deserve great credit for doing it. And they're going to do something that's really monumental. This is a monumental day. This is a monumental moment in the history of the world beyond the Middle East. We've all agreed that supporting Gaza must be done to lift up the people themselves, but we don't want to fund anything having to do with the bloodshed, hatred, or terror, as has happened in the past. And for the same reason, we're also agreed that Gaza's reconstruction requires that it be demilitarized and that a new, honest civilian police force must be allowed to create a safe condition for the people.
So here's the thing, who's going to create this civilian police force? Because Hamas is literally in control of everything. And as I just showed you about half an hour ago, they're literally rounding up Palestinians and they're just murdering them in the streets, like just shooting them in their heads and yelling Allahu Akbar. Like kind of awkward, right? So who exactly is going to go in and do all that, right? And not only are Hamas just like killing Palestinians, but other Palestinians are surrounding them and they're cheering and they're yelling Allahu Akbar and they're like cheering on the like mafia style execution of other civilians, right? You don't see this in civilized society. You don't see this in other countries, but yet this is literally how these people operate, how they think, and it's seriously messed up. It's messed up, right? It's just it's incredibly sick, and I don't know. It's just like, but I mean, this is who these people are. This is their society.
In Gaza, as I said earlier, I intend to be a partner in securing a better future. We're going to be working, you're going to be working with the United States, and we're going to make sure that the Middle East is going to be a safe and secure place. It's a very important place in the world, means so much. There were so many people who said the Middle East, and this has been going for many, many decades. I've read it many times, that World War III will begin in the Middle East. It's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. There was a time that you would have thought it could have, but it's not going to happen. There won't be World War III, hopefully at all, but it's not going to start in the Middle East. We're not going to have a World War III if we're smart. There'll never be a World War III. Our work begins right here and right now. From ancient times, this region has been extraordinarily mixed with respect to people, culture, religions, all of the different elements of national characters, unlike maybe anywhere else on earth. And for 3,000 years, there's been conflict for whatever reason. There's been tremendous conflict, always conflict. But today, for the first time anyone can remember, we have a once-in-a-lifetime chance to put the old feuds and bitter hatreds behind us. And that's why so many people in this room, they didn't get along. Some did, some didn't, but they're getting along now. This has brought the people together. This is the first time the Middle East crisis has brought people together as opposed to driving them apart. And to declare that our future will not be ruled by the fights of the generations past, which is foolish. So together, let us continue in the spirit of cooperation and goodwill that has finally brought us to this incredible, historic breakthrough. If we do together, we will reach the Middle East's incredible destiny, a safe and prosperous and beautiful crossroads of culture and commerce, faith in humanity and geographic center. This will be the geographic center of the world. So I just want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank you all for what you've done and for this quick notice. It all came together just at one little period. It just came together. It's the greatest deals happen that way. If you do anything about deals, that's all I've done all my life is deals. The greatest deals just sort of happen. And that's what happened right here. And maybe this is going to be the greatest deal of them all, not just nation building, not just having to do with this or the political whims. This will be maybe the greatest deal of them all, period. And I want to thank all of you and all of these great nations and this region for what it's gone through and all of the fights it's had, or life over death and hope over strife and harmony over hatred. That's what we want. We want it to be that way because together we're going to forge a magnificent, great, and enduring peace. I want to just end by saying, God bless you all. God bless the Middle East. God bless your countries, and God bless you. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So he's sending a very strong signal to the Islamic Republic. He's basically saying, you are no longer able to bully other countries in the Middle East. You are no longer able to have any control over the Middle East. Now, of course, this message is going to fly over the head of the Islamic Republic because they have been calling America, the great Satan for 46 years. And the Islamic regime itself is never going to enter into a peace treaty with Israel. It never will. And the reason is because the Islamic Republic, one of its core foundational pillars is this never-ending jihad with Israel. They want to, death and destruction and all of that stuff. So here's the thing. This was 2 days ago. But has Hamas disarmed? No, of course not. Hamas has not disarmed since then. And President Trump was asked about this yesterday. So let me find that. And Ramses, you're absolutely right. Ceasefire is not peace. I agree. Ceasefire is not peace. It just means the war and the violence has stopped for a little bit. So let me pull up what President Trump said yesterday when he was asked about this. Here we go. And I want to know what you guys think about this, because this is, where is it? Share this tab instead. Okay. So he was asked about the fact, why has Hamas not disarmed yet? And here's his response.
We have told them we want to disarm, and they will disarm. And if they don't disarm, we will disarm them. And it'll happen quickly and perhaps violently. But they will disarm. Do you understand me?
Yes. You say
because
quickly.
Everyone says, oh, well, they won't disarm. They will disarm. And I spoke to Hamas. And I said, you're going to disarm, right? Yes, sir, we're going to disarm. That's what they told me. They will disarm or we will disarm them. Got it? Okay.
What is the deadline you're going to put on that? You say quickly,
sir.
Sir, you say quickly, but what is the deadline you're going to put on
A
that before you
reasonable
take
period
action?
of time. Pretty quickly.
Mr.
A
President.
reasonable period of time.
Congratulations.
So that's really interesting. So Trump is saying if they don't disarm, we will disarm them. It will happen quickly and it will happen violently. So he's basically saying if they don't disarm, something's going to happen. And I find that interesting because Israel has been trying to disarm Hamas for a long time, well, especially since this conflict started, so for the last 2 years. And these Hamas terrorists keep on springing up like cockroaches, right? And what's really interesting is that the numbers came out, and of the, I think it was 67,000 casualties during the 2-year conflict. Out of the 67,000 casualties, 58,000 of them were actually Hamas terrorists. So Israel literally got rid of 58,000 Hamas terrorists, and there's still so many more of them, and they're still going out in the streets, and they're blowing each other up. And just executing one another. Just, very, very, very savage, right? So I want to play something for you guys. This was an interview with King Reza Pahlavi, okay? And he is the leader of the Iranian opposition. He actually speaks about peace in the Middle East. And he had an interview with Maria Bartiromo. I played this yesterday, but I want to play this again because it is so relevant. And he has been speaking about peace in the Middle East for quite a long time. And he actually had an interview with Maria Bartiromo in May, and he spoke about this. And as you know, Maria, she is a very good friend of President Trump. He watches Maria's show, and so I guarantee you that he probably saw this. So I find it really interesting that this phrase "peace in the Middle East" is being used by President Trump. It's being used by, of course, Prime Minister Netanyahu. And it's also being used by King Reza Pahlavi. And he has been using the phrase peace in the Middle East for several years now. And he's always said, you cannot have peace in the Middle East until the Islamic Republic occupying Iran is overthrown. And he goes into a very good breakdown and analysis here of that. And now, again, this was back in May, but it's just as relevant today. So here we go.
The next round of U.S.-Iran nuclear talks will likely be this upcoming weekend in Oman. But first, joining me right now is the exiled Crown Prince of Iran, the former, His Royal Highness Reza Pahlavi is here in studio. Your Royal Highness, great to have you.
Maria, thank you for having me again.
Thank you so much for being here. Give us your take on that, what you just heard, that the fighting with the Houthis is over. Should we believe that? And what about a potential deal with this current regime in Iran?
The past 40 years has demonstrated to everyone that has followed Iran that the demeanor and the pattern of behavior of this regime has remained consistent only in one way, and that is to continue fomenting regional instability and conflict as a means.
Did you catch that? So he's saying for the last 47 years, since the existence of the Islamic Republic occupying Iran, it has been consistent in only one thing, and that consistency is creating regional instability. So whether it's through Hamas, whether it's through Hezbollah, whether it's through the Houthis, whether it's through Hashd-e-Shaabi in Iraq, whether it's through a number of other jihadi terror proxy groups, or even itself, right? Even itself contributing to the regional instability, right? So in one way or another, the Islamic Republic has contributed to violence and terrorism in the Middle East since it was basically created back in 1979 and took over Iran. Oh, and by the way, guess what? Yasser Arafat and the Palestinians helped to create the Islamic Republic. Go figure. The terrorist society in the Middle East that is despised by every other Arab country and no one wants them in their country, they helped to create and promote the Islamic Republic as well. There you go. A little fun fact for you. So let's go back and watch this again.
The behavior of this regime has remained consistent. It's demonstrated
about a potential deal with this current regime in Iran.
The past 40 years has demonstrated to everyone that has followed Iran that the demeanor and the pattern of behavior of this regime has remained consistent only in one way, and that is to continue fomenting regional instability and conflict as a means of its own survival by financing its proxies and utilizing them as an instrument of pressure or intimidation across the world.
So he's saying, like, the Islamic Republic finances its proxy groups, right? Who are the proxy groups? Hezbollah, Houthis, Hezbollah in Lebanon, Houthis in Yemen, Hashd-e-Shaabi in Iraq, Hamas in Israel, right? So these are just some of the examples of the proxy groups of the Islamic Republic that are being paid by the Islamic Republic to cause violence and instability and engage in terrorism in the Middle East and around the world.
The Houthis are just one example of that.
The
majority of the funding.
So he's talking about the Houthis in Yemen right now.
The Houthis are just one example of that. The majority of the funding came from Iran, the training, the weapons. So, it's not that they say we're going to quit the fight. Who is to say they're not going to start it again once Iran will start funding them again? Because this is what the regime is most likely to do. Khamenei said that this is a temporary setback, and he was forced into accepting the climate of indirect talks only to buy some time to the regime. They have done that before. So nothing leads us to believe that this time they have a complete change of behavior or attitude. And that's something that we should not fall into the trappings that this regime has set, not just to the current administration, but to previous administrations, and has always taken advantage of that in order to prolong its own survival.
I think President Trump is aware of the sentiments that you're making this morning, Reza. And I just wonder if, in fact, there is a different tact that this administration should be taking at this point. I mean, President Trump told me exclusively 2 months ago, he sent a letter to Khomeini, and then they tried to mock that letter. What is the right approach?
Look, the president was absolutely correct during his first administration. The campaign of maximum pressure paid positive dividends. It forced Iran to retreat, cut a lot of the revenue that the regime would have had access to. Unfortunately, it was reversed under the Biden administration. The regime had in excess of $200 billion it should not have had, which was, of course, spent on not the people of Iran who are starving on the streets, but by reinforcing their proxies. October 7th was not just a coincidence. It's a result of that continued funding of the regime of its terror network. That is the component that President Trump, during his first administration, understood. Now, and as I said many times before, including on your show, maximum pressure in itself is not sufficient to remedy the problem. There has to be parallel to maximum pressure, a policy of maximum support to the Iranian people. Now, why is this important? Vice President Vance is talking about reintegration. The Iranian people are your true partner in peace. They are the alternative to a warmongering regime that has called death to Israel and death to America since its inception. It's not just a slogan, it's an actual belief. The IRGC, as a stated mission, has to export this revolutionary ideology.
So this is really important. I want to play this again and make sure you're paying attention. So the IRGC, that's the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is something that basically, like when we talk about the Islamic regime taking over Iran, that's what we're referring to. So it's this combination of the Ayatollahs, right? Like the terrorist Islamic clerics. And then they created the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, which is a paramilitary sort of association. And they protect the Ayatollahs. They, keep them in power. But the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps also exports its Islamofascist ideology and exports its jihad around the world, right? Because they were created to wage jihad against the West. So pay attention to this. And in fact, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is a listed terrorist entity in various countries, including Canada, the United States. I believe Australia recently put the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps on their terrorist list as well. And one thing that I think all countries need to do, and I think the EU should be next, is to list the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps as a terrorist entity. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to replay this because this is really, really important. He is saying that these Islamic terrorists are exporting their jihad to the West. So whether or not you want peace, they're going to bring the war to you wherever you are in the world.
It's not just a slogan. Death policy of maximum support to the Iranian people. Now, why is this important? Vice President Vance is talking about reintegration. The Iranian people are your true partner in peace. They are the alternative to a warmongering regime that has called death to Israel and death to America since its inception. It's not just a slogan, it's an actual belief. The IRGC, as a stated mission, has to export this revolutionary ideology across the world. They are not there to sue for peace and coexistence with their neighbors or beyond. That's what is missing in the ultimate understanding of foreign governments looking into Iran as to what is the alternative here. Of course, Iranians want to be integrated in free societies because they share the same values of the free world.
So do you see here, like these are all the Islamic terrorists, right? So there's the flag of the Islamic Republic. The yellow is the flag of Hezbollah. Hezbollah is funded by the Islamic Republic. And then of course you see like the Palestine flag, right? Because all of these terrorists are connected, right? So the Islamic Republic, Hezbollah, Palestine, they're all part of the same Islamic jihad that has not only destabilized the Middle East, but now they're trying to destabilize Western societies. And that's why you're seeing all of these like non-Iranians mostly waving these flags in America, waving them in Canada, and they're bringing their jihad to you, right? So it starts right here in Tehran, in Iran, and then they are exporting this exact ideology into Western societies, and then they're calling it like multiculturalism and diversity and freedom of religion and all that like jihadi nonsense, right? The Islamic terrorists are using your freedom of association and freedom of expression against you to push their jihadi ideology in your countries. And ask yourselves, why does this scene look like this could be in New York, right? Like you literally see the same types of people with the same flags in New York, in Toronto, in Montreal, like all over, right? Even in Europe, right? This is all a coordinated campaign. It's all paid for by the Islamic Republic and other terrorist societies like Qatar and whatever. And this is how they're exporting their jihad into your countries.
Free societies because they share the same values. That's what is missing in the ultimate understanding of foreign governments looking into Iran as to what is the alternative here. Of course, Iranians want to be integrated in free societies because they share the same values of the free world, not this regime. So negotiating with a regime that in its own DNA is simply incompatible with such integration is a waste of time. And the regime is gaining by dragging the feet to prolong its existence, hoping that maybe they will survive this administration, only to come back again and continue its policy of radicalism and violence. So when you look at Iran, I think this administration and many other governments should look beyond the regime itself and look at what's on the streets of Iran. What's the demand of the people? The people who chant, they lie to us, they say America is the enemy. Our enemy is right here in Iran. That's what the people are saying.
Yeah.
So that's the big distinction that needs to be understood at every phase of any discussions going on.
It's a very important point, and that is why the people of Iran keep chanting for you to return. I mean, I want to get your...
So there you go, guys. So I hope that gives you a good breakdown of how the Islamic Republic operates, why these Islamic jihadis will never accept peace. And, they're literally only pretending. And as you could tell in President Trump's speech, he recognized that the Islamic Republic occupying Iran, he shortens it to Iran. I like to say the Islamic Republic because I'm Iranian. That right there, that's my flag. That's the flag of Iran. Iran is currently occupied by the Islamic Republic. Very similar to Germany in World War II, right? Germany was occupied by the Nazis. And even to this day, when we refer to that time, we always say Nazi Germany because we recognize there's a difference between Germans and between the Nazis. And it's the same thing right now. In fact, the Islamic Republic are basically like the modern day Nazis, except, in some ways they're even worse because they're continuing to fund like terrorism and anti-Semitism around the world, right? Like these Nazis have these modern day Nazis have infiltrated Western societies, and they're trying to promote their anti-Semitic jihadi ideology. And unfortunately, a lot of people have fallen for it, but people are also starting to wake up now, right? And you have to ask yourselves, why is it? Why is it that why is it that, for example, even though there is a peace agreement in place, you still have these jihadis in your streets who are saying that they are going to repeat October 7 over and over and over again, right? I mean, did you guys see that video? Who was it? It was this guy in New York City, and an American named Abdullah, and he was talking about how he wants to repeat October 7 over and over again. Did you guys see that video? I spoke about him briefly, but I mean, here you go. Like, it's wild. Like, these are the people that are currently in your countries, and they're waving all these like terrorist flags. And then they're basically saying they want to repeat October 7 over and over and over again. So here we go.
We did not act enough. We did not act enough.
So this guy is in New York City. Okay, he's like a Harvard graduate student, and he's basically saying we did not act like he's basically saying we didn't murder enough people, and then he's basically calling for jihad in the United States.
Repeat after me. We did not act enough. We did not act enough. If we acted enough. If we acted enough. The headline behind me would read. Gaza has been liberated. So our work is not done. We must show up. Stronger than we did the first October 7th. Louder than we did.
Did you catch that? So he's basically saying we're going to show up stronger than the first October 7, and then like a bunch of like brainless, mindless like zombies are chanting after him. And by the way, guys, no one in the Middle East dresses like this unless they're terrorists, right? Like this is how ISIS terrorists dress. This is how terrorists dress up before they murder people and yell Allahu Akbar. So again, like these people are literally dressing up like terrorists, and they're calling for jihad in the United States, and it's mind blowing, right?
The first October 7th.
Like look at these people. Like no one in the Middle East dresses like this. No one in the Middle East dresses like this. It's wild. It's wild that they do this. They literally dress up like Islamic terrorists, and then they call themselves freedom fighters, right? Meanwhile, these people are like murdering each other in Gaza right now.
We are not going anywhere. We will keep fighting until Palestine is free. From the river to the sea. Within our lifetime. Make some noise.
Oh, look, so you see that? That is the flag of Hamas, okay? This is why I call them all terrorists, because Hamas is a listed terror entity in the United States, and yet here are the Islamic terrorists literally waving the flag of Hamas in New York City, right? So when I say that, your countries, when I say that, what is it? Gosh, all these Islamic terrorists in the chat are so triggered, right? So when I say that these Islamic terrorists are infiltrating Western countries, infiltrating Western society, and they're taking over, this is what I'm referring to. They are blatantly flying the flag of Hamas, which, by the way, again, a listed terrorist entity in the United States, right? They're coming here. And don't forget, these are the people who cheered 9/11. When 9/11 happened, right? When all those Islamic terrorists hijacked the planes, flew into the Twin Towers, these are the same people that celebrated 9/11. Do you guys remember that? Like, people in Gaza were celebrating 9/11 and handing out sweets. It's wild. It's absolutely wild, right? and then you guys have like imported them into your country. I mean, what did you think was going to happen when you import a bunch of Islamic terrorists into your country? Did you think that they would all of a sudden just say, oh, you know what? We were wrong. Let's live in peace and harmony. No, you import Islamic terrorists into your country. They're basically going to continue with their jihad, except now they're doing it from within your own house. Oh, you guys want the source for Palestinians cheering on October 7? Really? I mean, sure. If you guys don't know how to use Google, I'm more than happy to find it for you. But here you go. Let me do a search for you. All right, since you guys want the source, where is it? Oh, Palestine cheering 9/11 videos. Here you go.
Jerusalem today among jubilant Palestinians that the United States had been subject to this attack. What are we to make of that, Jennifer? Yasser Arafat may issue this condemnation. Look at this. We're seeing people applauding, clapping, smiling, happy to know that thousands of Americans have died in this sneak attack. And there you see a V for victory sign held up to the camera. What are we to make of that? And what are we to make of what about what Yasser Arafat said today?
The United States blamed by some Palestinians for its ongoing support, as it is seen, of Israel in this conflict, in this Middle Eastern conflict.
Look at that. So literally 9/11 happens, and then the Palestinians are cheering on the terrorist attack. And then you guys are stupid enough to not just import them into your country, but then you're also like supporting their resistance, right? These people cheer and pass out sweets when Americans are murdered by Islamic terrorists, and you guys are stupid enough to bring them into your country. I mean, really? It's insane. I mean, just literally all you have to do is search it up. Look up Palestinians celebrate 9/11. The video is there. The footage is there. So there you go. There's a little pro tip for you. Google is your best friend, and you can search up all of this as well. So don't believe the hype. Don't believe all the propaganda out there. Do a little, critical thinking is important. And you guys really have to ask yourselves, why is it, why are you allowing or why are your governments importing Islamic terrorists into your own countries when these are the same people who would have no problem not just murdering you, but if other Islamic terrorists murdered you, they would cheer it on. And they're literally calling for jihad in your own country, right? Like, look at all these Islamic terrorists in New York City supporting Hamas, and they're saying that we want to do October 7 over and over and over again. So going back to the title of the topic, because I am going to wrap up now. I mean, I hope the peace in the Middle East lasts, but I don't think it will, because we haven't yet gotten to the root cause of the conflict, which is Islamic terrorism and their never-ending jihad against the West. And I think that they're just going to be buying time. And I think unless and until the Islamic Republic occupying Iran is overthrown, we're going to continue seeing these jihadi terrorists, because the Islamic Republic is spending a lot of money to fund jihad in the West. So there you go. I want to thank you all for joining. I really appreciate it. If you liked this live stream, make sure that you follow, because I go live daily at noon, Monday to Fridays. So I will catch you all tomorrow. And as always, Payande Iran, Javid Shah.